迎えたいの。家族にスズムンを芋虫ランドに迎えたい。
Totally great creative name.
全身にびっしり私と同じ毒毒芋虫まだら模様。スズムンとお揃いの毒毒まだら模様したい。
I saw the tip of her tube oozing mucus tinged with a repulsive hue, and let out the shrillest scream of my life. I fell on all fours and started crawling away as fast as I could. I had to get out of there. If I didn't, and that thing got me, I'd... So this really was a bad dream. Yes, it was all a dream, and I already knew that from the start.
逃げられないよ。だってここは私の不思議の国。もうスズムンは私のものなんだよ。
Nobody laughed at my sad state as I pathetically clawed at the door. She threw her head back, took a deep, deep breath, and filled her cheeks. I screamed again when I felt long hair sprayed across me. Hair? No, it wasn't hair. It was like white floss. I understood this was silk. Caterpillar silk. Ugh. It came from her mouth, too. Nobody was shooting thin yet solid silk threads at me, trying to wrap me up like a cocoon. Couldn't break no matter how much I struggled. But my body being constricted by the silk as I tried to resist.
怯えなくていいよ、スズムン。まあでも無理な話だよね。
先輩は何がしたいんですか？
スズムンにブルブルビクビクうずいて綺麗な毒毒模様が浮き出すコブ。スズムンの全身にくまなく全部に。スズムンの綺麗なところにも汚いところにも懐かしいところにも全部
そんなもので全身を刺されたら死んじゃいます。
I mean, technically she didn't die, she transformed.
結構痛いからね。でも下手に抵抗するとその方がかえって痛いよ。おとなしくしてた方がいいかな。でもね、進む。私は誰が家族でもいいわけじゃないの。そういうクズもいるだろうとは思うよ。家族が増やせれば誰でもいいっていうクズも。でも私はこれがとても神聖なちぎりにきっと違いないと思ってるから。大好きなスズムン以外の誰も考えなかったんだよ。
And every girl he tries to get with. What the fuck? Taking at face value, her words were a beautiful confession of love that one should be beyond honored to receive. But who could believe a declaration like that when it comes from a giant caterpillar binding you with silk?
スズムのこと た時から胸の中がうついてた。私は一目惚れなんて少女漫画の中のことだけだと思ってたけれど、あるんだね、本当に。君を見て私はずっとずっと恋に胸が苦しい夜を過ごしたんだよ。
僕を一目惚れしてくれたのはすごく嬉しいです。僕も先輩と話していて楽しかったし、一緒に過ごしてもっと一緒にいたいと思ったりもしました。でもだからこそ相手の嫌がることなんてできないんじゃないですか。
こういう感情ってやっぱりけだものに通じるから重欲って言うんだろうね。
Carnal
好
instinct.
きなスズムンだからこそ、スズムンの嫌がることなんてしたくないって気持ちもちろんあるよ。
じゃあ
でもね、そんなの関係なく大好きなスズムンを無理やり毒々芋虫にしてやりたいって、そういう気持ちも抑えられないくらいに湧いてくるの。変だよね、変だと思う。全身に管を突き立てられて、いかにブリブリと気持ち悪いコブを作られるのってすっごく辛いこと、それが分かってるはずなのに、それでもなおスズムンの全身を犯したい。私の汚らしいドロドロの管でブリブリとスズムンの全身を犯し尽くしたい。
Just when I thought I finally getting through to her, her eyes glazed over, making it perfectly clear a sane conversation was far beyond her grasp. Just as she said, she was being controlled by carnal instincts and was completely lacking in reason. Humans were far from perfect. They all had desires that they were powerless to stop. Hunger, thirst, and lust for starters. There was no way nobody would be reasoned with when enslaved by such emotions. All she wanted was one thing: to stab me with that tube all over and desecrate my body with those ghastly caterpillar spots.
スズムンのことが大好きだから、無理やりだけど無理やりじゃないの。スズムンの覚悟が終わるまで私は待っててあげるから。
She caressed my face with a bewitching smile, then stroked my body from head to toe with that slimy protrusion. Ugh. All of a sudden, everything shook with a rumble. The teaspoons rang on the table. Nobody's face froze and she looked around in confusion. Oh God, I see all the freaking... There was again another rumble. It was stronger than the last one. Some dust fell from the ceiling. And Nobody's face darkened.
何事ですか？
静かに。
Nobody pressed a finger to my lips and slipped it to the door. She opened the door and went outside. That was the perfect chance to escape. But I couldn't break free of the silk no matter how hard I tried. However, I could still roll in it. I had to hide somewhere until nobody came to her senses. I rolled and crawled like a caterpillar myself, aiming for the door. And there were several loud thumps followed by the ground shaking. I could tell whatever was causing the shaking was an unnatural phenomenon. It was the sound of a new terror far beyond the likes of Minobe, which tremors felt like giants' footsteps. Just when I was a hair's breadth away from the exit, Minobe came back. She lifted me up and tossed me on the floor.
ごめんね、スズム。少しおとなしくしてて。ったく、あんな化け物、どこから。
Her face was stricken with worry. Nobody was more enough of a monster herself at this point, yet here she was calling something else a monster. I couldn't doubt any longer. The tremors were the sounds of a massive creature stomping about. Nobody locked the door, but that wouldn't do any good against something so gargantuan. She threw her head back, took another deep breath, and started spinning silk threads once again. Oops. She used it to block the door like a spiderweb. But that wasn't enough for her. She started creeping around the whole room. Before long, the whole room was covered in silk. Jesus Christ. As she did, the monster outside finally reached the door. The entire room shook with a shock unlike any before. But Minobe's threads were sturdy. The door didn't break no matter how much the room rumbled or how much dust fell from the ceiling.
スズムは私のもの。スズムは私のもの。
Nobody repeated that like a mantra as she kept circling the room, covering it with even more silk. And eventually, all I could see was silk. I just realized, oh crap! It's like a blizzard had passed through the room, but nobody just kept on going. They kept circling around until she eventually started creeping across the walls and ceiling. Everything turned into a pure white womb made of silk. 邪魔はさせないわ。スズムは私のもの。私のものなんだから。I have a feeling I know what's out there, but just then the fiercest tremor yet struck, knocking nobody off the ceiling. Oh. And then I saw it. The ceiling being torn, wrenched open by massive black claws. The ceiling was torn off, splinters fell everywhere. With that, a gaping white hole to the sky was revealed. What the hell is this? What is that? A giant shadow stood against this purple sky looking down on us. That monster was as big as a skyscraper. Holy crap! Disheveled black hair sprung from its head like a willow tree framed by two bent branches. Its razor-sharp claws lunged for me. Nobody knocked me aside and charged at the giant black arms. Though she was a giant caterpillar, Minobe was still the same size as a human. She wasn't even as tall as the monster's fists. It was clear who was at a disadvantage here. What the heck is this? Sounds like a cat. The monster let out an earth-shattering howl and a moan when Noe must have stabbed it with her tube. It sounded like a freaking cat. But all that did was anger the giant. It swiftly grabbed Minobe and wrapped its gargantuan hands around her. The monster carried her up into the sky as though she were just a doll. I could hear Minobe's voice high in the pitch black sky. Before long, agony started seeping into her cries. All of a sudden, her shouts vanished right as the sound of a branch snapping rang out. And with that, something came dripping down from above. They were crushed entrails, followed by Minobe's Minobe's arms, torso, and head, and crashed right into the floor and rolled toward me. And though she reduced to solely head, Minobe was still conscious.
Senpai.
Jesus Christ. A single tear leaked from Minobe's eyes, and with that her life came to an end. Suddenly, a thumb as thick as a log came down and squished her head flat like a quail egg. Oh, God. A giant hand picked me up next, taking me up to the sky. I felt like I was going up the first hill of a particularly tall roller coaster. I was scared out of my mind. I couldn't help but laugh my heart out. When I reached the top of the sky, I saw the moon. The last moon I'd ever see. The last sight I ever saw in Wonderland. And I woke up to find myself sweating and staring at the ceiling, my body contorted in an opposition. I felt like I just had the worst nightmare of my life, one that defied any explanation. The details had been so clear just moments earlier, but with every blink and wipe on my forehead, they faded further and further away. I took another look at the ceiling. It was the same wooden ceiling I'd recently gotten used to. I got the impression that I couldn't calm down unless I made sure of that. Nobody had said dreams could be another reality, didn't she? And I felt was dissonance from that reality, not connecting to this one. But something like that couldn't possibly exist. That was a dream and this was reality. I took a deep breath to calm down. I must have had a bizarre dream because I was conscious of the fact that Nova was sleeping over next door. This had to be it. A dream I'd only just been having. His arms, torso, and head all crushed and ripped to pieces. Yes, all of this. The dream connected to reality. Oh! Or what? The moonlight seeped into my room, revealing literal splashes of blood painted all over. Scattered chunks of meat littered around. Among them included squashed arms and severed torso. And just like in that dream, Minobe's crushed head lying right next to my pillow. Oh, no. I just remember the top of my lungs and burst out of my room. I couldn't resist the fear engraved in my cells, shouting at me to flee from the scene of her death. It was only when I got outside that I realized I had to call for help. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. Though I was panicking, another part of my company says that I would be the prime suspect here. I don't know what had happened. I had nothing to do with it. I couldn't have killed her. After all, Minobe was in Kiko's room. There was no way she could be in mine. And how was I sure that mutilated corpse strewn across my room was Minobe's? It wasn't me. It couldn't be. I mean, there wasn't even a drop of blood on my hands. But all of that could wait. I had to call the police. I entered on the apartment 201. My phone was in room, but I'd be damned if I ever went back there. But perhaps because I'd been hitting it too hard. The door fell off its hinges, so I began worrying. I'd broken it, the door fell into pitch black darkness. What? I didn't have any idea how, but there it was. Room 201 was a black space, but with nothing inside it. There was no sound of the door hitting the ground. It simply swallowed into the bottomless darkness and faded without a noise. Almost like they'd only built the apartment complex halls and forgotten to build Kiko's apartment. It was only then I noticed what was wrong with the world. I was outside on the second floor of the complex. The complex doors, windows, walls, floors, and rails were all there. All of them are normal. All of them are there. But everything else was gone. Roads, telephone lines, streetlights, houses lining the streets all vanished without trace. Everything apart from this apartment complex had been painted over with pure darkness. Only the dim shine of the fluorescent lamps illuminated this world. I believed that I had returned from the world of nightmares to the real world. Wait, the real world? Then I heard footsteps approaching. Someone was heading up the staircase to this floor. That someone was a shadow of a dark girl. A shadow so dark not even the faint lamplight could illuminate it. A moment later, recognition came to me. That bizarre figure with long black hair, withered branches jutting out from their head. It looked down on me in that nightmare world. And suddenly something stuck out from within the shadow. It was a small Japanese doll that I'd seen somewhere before. Pale arms were holding it out from within the shadow. And with a plop, the doll's tiny head fell off. His arms and torso broke apart, following soon scattering at the shadow's feet, like Minobe. With that, the pale hands stuck even further out, and a girl emerged from the shadow. I didn't mean that she was the one projecting the shadow. I meant she literally walked out from within it. But, calm down. I knew her. She stepped toward me, trampling over the scattered doll, and spread her hands out as if to embrace me.
お前は私のもの。誰にも渡さない。
Don't tell me that was you. Both Kurakami and the female shadow appeared with arms and engulfed me. Say what now? Oh my god. Well, we got the second story done of this. This might be copyrighted scenario from, yes, him. Corner Mochi. Mocha, not Mochi. Oh my god. This was crazy. Joshi truly is behind all this. Yeah, there's the thing. So I might have to cut this. The tree. Wait, is the tree a part of that one shadow spot? That spot with the where Minoe was killed. Was that the tree? Was that where that, like, that darkness area with all that ash and stuff? Was that where that was from? Okay, that is all I am going to be doing with this. I might actually split it up into parts. It's been 4 or 5 months since I've last played that, and I finished off the second story within one recording session. I say that's a damn good job. Who knows when I'll go back to this? I might watch me come back to it like 5 months later again. But anyway, that was Iwaihime part. I don't know. I might have it cut into 2 or 3 episodes, 2 or 3 videos. So it'll either be part 9, 10, or 11. But when you see this one, so See ya.